The first time Emma saw Liam walking toward her across the college courtyard, she felt an unexpected jolt, like life had paused, like time itself was waiting for her reaction. She didn't know why. He wasn't movie star handsome, nor was he the loudest, brightest presence on campus. But something about his warm, open expression and the calm, steady way he moved made her heart hesitate in a way that terrified her. She wasn't someone who believed in instant connections, and she certainly wasn't someone who believed she deserved them. So when he approached her that day, carrying nothing but a shy smile and a gentle confidence, she reacted the only way she knew. She built a wall, and that wall became the one thing that shaped both of their lives for years. If you believe in kindness, forgiveness, and second chances, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support truly keeps stories like this alive. Emma spent her college years keeping Liam at arm's length. He wasn't pushy, he wasn't overbearing. He simply showed up in the quiet corners of her life, offering help when she didn't ask for it, cheering quietly when she succeeded, and stepping back respectfully when she needed space. Yet every small kindness from him made her heart beat in a way she didn't want to understand. She rejected him with polite smiles, with carefully chosen words that implied she wasn't ready, or didn't want anything serious, or didn't believe in relationships during college. And each time Liam simply nodded, accepted her answer, and treated her with the same gentle respect. It was almost painful how simple he made it. No pressure, no drama, just a quiet acceptance that maybe someday she would see what he saw. But Emma didn't see it. Not then. She grew up in a household where love was loud, destructive, and unpredictable. Her parents loved each other in storms, screaming, slamming doors, crying at the dinner table, and sleeping in separate rooms for weeks. The kind of love people talked about in movies felt like fantasy to her. So when someone like Liam came along, with the potential for peaceful love, steady love, growing love, it terrified her far more than a toxic relationship ever could. So she pushed him away harder, rejected him again and again, whenever he tried to show a little more affection than usual. She told herself she was doing him a favor, freeing him from the burden of her brokenness. Liam, meanwhile, moved through life with patience that came from somewhere deep inside him. He was the kind of man who believed that hearts were more fragile than people admitted, and that pushing someone before they were ready only led to resentment. So he gave Emma what she needed most: time. He still smiled when he saw her, still asked how she was, still remembered small details about her life that others overlooked. But he never brought up the possibility of them again. If she didn't want him, he accepted that. Or at least he pretended he did, even when walking away from her left an ache in his chest that he hid from everyone. After graduation, life took them in different directions. Emma moved to Chicago for her first job, throwing herself into work with the kind of intensity that masked the loneliness inside her. Liam moved to Seattle, chasing a career in environmental engineering. They didn't stay in touch. Their social media interactions faded. The small glimpses of each other's lives dwindled until they were nothing but occasional reminders in the people you may know section. But something inside Emma changed the year she turned 27. She was sitting alone in her apartment after a long day at work when she suddenly found herself scrolling back through her old college photos. There, in the background of so many pictures, was Liam, laughing, smiling, standing among friends, always nearby, always looking at her with that same unshakable warmth. She felt something unravel inside her. For so long she had been running from something she didn't know she desperately needed, a love that felt safe. She realized she had pushed away the one person who ever made her feel seen. Over the next few weeks, the thought of him became constant, like a soft ache behind her ribs. She wondered what he was doing, who he was with, whether he was happy, and more importantly, whether she had any right to reach out after rejecting him so many times. But guilt and fear didn't erase longing. One night, without overthinking, she sent him a simple message. "Hey, it's been a while. How have you been?" She waited. Minutes passed, then hours, then a full day. No response. It felt like someone had tightened a rope around her heart. She deserved the silence. She knew that, but it didn't make it hurt any less. After 3 days, she opened Instagram again and saw that Liam had viewed her message and still didn't reply. That hurt in a new way, because now she wasn't being rejected for who she was, but for what she had done. Weeks turned into a month before his message finally came through. "Hey Emma, sorry for the late reply. I've been good. Hope you're doing well too." Polite, distant, careful. Nothing like the warmth she once took for granted. They exchanged a few messages, small talk mostly, But something felt different. He wasn't the same Liam who once waited quietly for her heart. He was guarded now, protecting something she had once wounded without even realizing it. When she suggested catching up over a video call, he politely declined, saying work had been hectic. She knew it wasn't about work. For the first time in her life, Emma had become the one chasing, and it terrified her in a new way, because now she feared she had waited too long. Months passed before life gave her a second chance. A mutual college friend announced an in-person reunion in Denver. Emma didn't plan to go. But the moment she heard Liam was attending, she booked a ticket without hesitation. She spent days preparing herself mentally, rehearsing what she would say, imagining every possible reaction he might have. And when the night finally arrived, her heart felt like it was beating outside her body. She spotted him across the room before he saw her. He looked older, stronger, more confident, yet still familiar in the ways that mattered. When he finally turned and their eyes met, something fragile inside her trembled. He gave her a polite smile, the kind you give a stranger you once knew. She wanted to run into his arms, but instead she walked toward him slowly, steadying her breath, praying she wouldn't crumble. Their conversation was short, surface level, almost painfully polite. She could tell he was keeping emotional distance like a shield, and she couldn't blame him. After so many years of rejection, why would he open himself to her again? That night, she went back to her hotel room and cried, not because he was cold, but because she finally understood the damage she had done. She had spent years believing she didn't deserve love, and in doing so, she had taught him that he didn't deserve her either. But Emma wasn't ready to give up. Not this time. Not when she finally understood what her heart had been trying to tell her for years. She decided to try again, one last time, no matter how vulnerable it made her feel. Over the next months, she reached out gently, not with romantic words, but with consistent kindness, the same kind he once showed her. She checked in when she knew he had big presentations at work. She congratulated him on achievements. She asked about his family. She listened. She didn't push. She didn't hint at romance. She simply showed up quietly, just as he once had for her. Slowly, almost painfully slowly, he began letting his guard down. Their conversations grew longer. They laughed again. They talked late at night again. Emma felt hope cautiously blooming, fragile but real. One snowy evening, while walking alone through Chicago's quiet downtown streets, she realized something powerful. She didn't want to wait for him to make the first move again. She didn't want to hide behind fear anymore. She wanted him, fully, openly, honestly, and she wanted to show him what he had once shown her, courage. So she bought a plane ticket to Seattle. When Liam opened the door and found her standing on his porch, trembling in the cold, snowflakes tangled in her hair, he looked more shocked than she had ever seen him. She could barely breathe. Her heart felt heavy with everything she needed to say but couldn't fit into words. She told him everything, how she had been afraid of love, how she pushed him away not because she didn't care, but because she cared too deeply, how she had grown, healed, learned, and how her heart had stayed loyal to a man she never truly let go. And then, with trembling hands and a voice barely holding steady, she told him she loved him, and she asked him to be hers. For the first time in years, Liam's expression softened. Something cracked open inside him, the hurt, the longing, the love he had buried so deeply he thought it was gone. He didn't answer immediately. He stepped closer, searching her face, reading her eyes as if trying to determine whether this was another chapter of pain or the beginning of something beautiful. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, he wrapped his arms around her. And in that moment, Emma felt a kind of safety she had never known. A safety she had once feared but now cherished more than anything. Their love didn't bloom perfectly overnight. Real love rarely does. They both carried scars, and they both learned slowly how to love each other better. But there was something peaceful, steady, and deeply healing about the way they grew together. Emma learned that real love wasn't chaos, it was calm. And Liam learned that some hearts love fiercely once they finally find their courage. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us bring more emotional stories to life. Before we end, please comment down below. Do you believe people can find love even after years of waiting and mistakes? Thank you for watching.